On the news, removal of Dajo as Speaker, Benue State House of Assembly. Governor Alia refutes allegation of involvement. House of Representatives open doors to global community in a new push for corporate responsibility. Also in the news, correspondent on special assignment takes a look at the process of Election Petition Tribunal as provided for in the 2022 Electoral Act. Good evening and thanks for joining us on NTA Parliamentary News. I'm Joshua Abuja. The news begins as the Benue State Governor, Innocent Alia, has refuted allegation that he influenced the removal of the Speaker, Audana Dajo, pointing out that he has tremendous respect for the legislature. A statement by the Chief Press Secretary to the Governor, Teso Kula, emphasized the Governor's unwavering respect for the rule of law as well as the principles of separation of powers among the three arms of government. The statement also notes that the Governor has consistently responded to communications and resolutions transmitted to him from the State House of Assembly. It maintains that Governor Alia has a cordial and productive working relationship with the Dajo-led Assembly and remains committed to supporting the legislature and the discharge of its legislative duties for the overall development of Benue State. Meanwhile, a series of events preceded the resignation and the election of the new Speaker at the Benue State House of Assembly. Grace Ichekpa is standing by to report in the build-up to the emergence of the new Speaker.
Behind me is the legislative chambers of the Benue State House of Assembly, where legislative matters are being carried out. The emergence of the new Speaker of the Benue State House of Assembly, Mr. Alfred Mbega, preludes activities in the House, which had put the legislature at loggerheads with the executive. First was the resolution by the State Assembly directing the Governor to suspend the executive secretaries of the Universal Basic Education Board, SUBEB, and that of the Benue Lottery Agency, as well as the suspension of the council chairman of Otukpo local government area for 6 months. This the Governor ignored. Also, it was alleged that members through the Speaker had complained over non-payment of their constituency allowances and other demands, which they say the Governor had not met. With all these issues, members opposed the screening of commissioner nominees sent to the House by the Governor because they said if these demands are not being met, they will not screen any commissioner nominees sent to the House. This, many observers felt that the executive was no longer comfortable with the House, and on the 22nd of August 2025, there was a rumor that there was a move to impeach the former Speaker, Mr. Audana Dajo, but the impeachment move failed. As a result of this, 4 members of the Assembly were suspended for the various roles they played in the impeachment move. It is as a result of this, the Chief Press Secretary of the Governor of Benue State, Mr. Teso Kula, swiftly released a press statement to debunk the involvement of his principal in the impeachment plan, saying his administration has high regards for the legislature and will never interfere in their activities. However, there was a twist on the 24th of August, 2 days after the planned impeachment. The House reconvened for an emergency sitting presided by the Deputy Speaker, Mrs. Lami Danladi. During the emergency sitting, the resignation letter of the former Speaker, Mr. Audana Dajo, was read on the floor of the House by the Clerk of the House. The resignation of Mr. Audana Dajo now paved way for the unanimous election of Mr. Alfred Mbega as the new Speaker. In his acceptance speech, the new Speaker pledged that he will practice an all-inclusive system of leadership, and he sued for cooperation and support from his colleagues and other stakeholders. For now, all eyes are on the 10th Assembly as people look forward to a robust legislature devoid of rancor.
The House of Representatives Committee on Corporate Social Responsibility is collaborating with the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and Cyber Future Academy on using corporate responsibility to promote prosperity, human development, and global cooperation. The report. The International Legislative Exchange Program, ILEP, was conceived by the House of Representatives Committee on Corporate Social Responsibility to create a platform for policy dialogue, global best practices exchange, and institutional collaboration. This diplomatic roundtable under the framework #CSR for Development initiative attracted diplomats, development partners, corporate leaders, policymakers, and the private sector to launch the Nigeria CSR Fund and Innovation Center.
CSR, if well channeled, can bridge this gap. It can help us leapfrog from the fourth industrial revolution while also addressing traditional gaps in education, healthcare, and social security.
It is from this place of privilege and duty that I invite you to join hands with us in championing the Nigeria Corporate Social Responsibility Fund, an initiative poised to redefine social investment in our great nation, Nigeria.
The engagement is further to be powered by digital technology, artificial intelligence, entrepreneurship, and many more, as well as leveraging on diaspora resources for community empowerment and national development.
Today, Nigeria must step forward. China is investing over $1.2 billion annually in AI research. What we do have today is talent, the one standing in front of you now, and others like myself, scattered all over our nation with similar talent, looking for opportunity.
We must empower the Nigerians in the Diaspora Commission to expand its engagement platforms, create targeted incentives for investment and entrepreneurship, and build robust regulatory frameworks that instill confidence, partnership with diaspora organizations, international allies, and local stakeholders.
Representatives of the diplomatic corps present include those of Brazil, Argentina, Romania, India, Spain, the United States, China, and separately, the Market Traders Association of Nigeria. Let's now join Afolabi Afakpe for more insight on this partnership. He is the Deputy Chairman, House of Representatives Committee on Corporate Social Responsibility, as well as the Chairman, Technical Working Subcommittee on International Legislative Exchange Program. Welcome to Parliamentary News.
It's a pleasure. You're welcome.
Tell us what International Legislative Exchange Program stands for.
Well, the International Legislative Exchange Program, we say it's a subcommittee for corporate social responsibility, standing committee of the House of Representatives. And our thinking is the fact that we need to be able to learn from other clients what they do as regards corporate social responsibility. You know, corporate social responsibility is yet to have backing of the law here. People see it as corporate as if we are actually doing government favor, whereas it is, some people see as investment in other areas. So our aim is to say we want to have a very robust CSR system in Nigeria, and in doing this, we also need to be able to learn from other countries, and that is why we brought about this international exchange program. We're able to go to other countries, study what they do, learn from them, and bring it back to be able to improve the way we can carry out the CSR in our country.
At the meeting, stakeholders highlighted digital technology, artificial intelligence, and entrepreneurship as catalysts for diplomatic exchange. Can you elaborate on this?
If you look at Nigeria, we have the population. We have population. And having population, that means any country that wants to trade in Nigeria will be able to have a very good return on investment. But if you have population and they are not literate digitally, then that means we are not moving the way other countries or nations are moving. And government cannot be able to do all this alone. That's okay. There could be corporate social responsibility from all these international donors, all these, they can come together and put something down. And we are not talking about digital literacy alone. You can, all of them, you brought all of them together to showcase the reason, the policy statement behind CSR. For them to key into it, you can choose any area. You can choose intervention in health, you can choose in education, you can choose in the digital economy, any area whatsoever that you think it was be beneficial to the nation. We welcome idea. That is why we cannot be going meeting people one after the other. Let's have assemblage of people that matter, and let us can see the organized private sectors are there. We have a lot of diplomats are there. We need to tell them this is our own thinking, this is our own initiative, this is what we want to achieve, and we must set the board ruling. What we've done today is to set the board ruling to tell them that CSR come alive, and we must continue to support it in making Nigeria better than the way we are today.
The Parliamentary Committee is initiating a Corporate Social Responsibility Fund and Innovation Center. What is the objective and status of the program?
No, we are still not at any level. What we are saying, we are trying to, we want to approach all these providers. What can they do? There are some, like Galaxy Backbone, that do some things already. How can we improve on it? It's not enough. What can we do? They have all this data up in some selected state now. How do we improve on it? How do we get it to all the geopolitical zone, if not all the states? Let's start somewhere. I'm saying that, that if as a government organization cannot do it alone, what can we do? How do we collaborate? That one, we want to have a fund. We can get donor, international, from international donor. We can have something to support us with. We have a fund that will be dedicated to whatever we want to do, and everybody will be on the same page. If we take a decision, we want to have technology up, we can do that area that we understand the integrity of it, we will carry along and we do it. If it's in terms of any, the CSR is meant for intervention. Intervention can come in any form. It depends on what? On the need of each community. And community, I can tell you, where I don't need the guitar, what I need is small hospital. What is important is let this organization also give back to the society.
Thanks for your time, Representative Afolabi Afakwe, Chairman and also Representative Technical Working Subcommittee on International Legislative Exchange Program.
I'm also happy for engaging me, and I'm readily available at any other time for you.
You're welcome. We'll now take a break. The news continues shortly. Do stay with us.
Are you looking for a short channel to make your business, goods and services go viral? Look no further, as NTA Parliament is your short channel. Take advantage of our wider reach and advertise your products and services on NTA Parliament DSTV channel 370, GoTV channel 126, StarTimes channel 306, and Free TV channel 706. For more inquiries, contact the Marketing Department, NTA Parliament, NTA Headquarters Area 11 Garki, Abuja, or call these numbers 080-383-40464 or 080-770-78055. NTA Parliament, strengthening Nigeria's democracy.
Thanks for staying tuned. Moving on August 16, 2025, Nigeria conducted a series of by-elections across federal and state constituencies conducted by the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC. The elections were necessitated by a mix of court-ordered reruns, deaths, resignations, and legal nullifications of previous results. The exercise offered a glimpse into the evolving dynamics of Nigeria's political landscape ahead of 2027 general elections. With the elections now over, aggrieved parties are to seek legal redress. Ignatius Onko in this special report takes us through this legal process.
Periodic elections, a significant feature of democracy, remains a major source of legitimacy for elected officials. Unfortunately, it is not without some setbacks. The study of electoral processes in time and space shows that the process is characterized by a number of unintended circumstances. That is why laws guiding elections usually go hand in hand with provisions for the expression of grievances arising from the ballot.
The proof of electoral petitions by a petitioner is on the preponderance of evidence. That means you have to shift the burden of the proof of your case to the respondent. Why you fail and or neglect to shift the burden of proof by way of balance of probabilities or preponderance of evidence to the respondent, you will woefully fail in adjudication of your case.
Section 130, subsection 3 of the Act provides that election tribunals shall be constituted not later than 30 days before elections, and when constituted, shall open their registries 7 days before the election. The presidential election petition travels from Court of Appeal to Supreme Court. That of governorship moves from tribunal through the appeal and Supreme Court, while that of the National and State Assembly terminates at the appeal court.
On the National Assembly matters, of course, the ruling of the tribunal is not the final position of the law. They still have, the aggrieved parties still have that right to appeal to a court of appeal. Likewise, that of the governorship and the presidential election also gets to the Supreme Court. So that the tribunal have ruled against or in favor of one now does not mean that the litigation has ended.
The Constitution did not in any way say that once a judgment is given, the implementation should be instantaneous. In other words, what the Constitution provides is room for appeals. And that is provided under sections 230 to 304 of the Constitution. And then when one is going on appeal, it is expected that under section 36 of the Constitution, you have not been declared guilty until you have really exhausted all the avenues of appeals.
In Nigeria, while Part 4 of the Electoral Act 2022 provides for the electoral procedures, Part 8 deals with the determination of petitions arising from the process. Ignatius Nkwo, NTA News.
In the meantime, the Sokoto State House of Assembly has adopted a motion calling for the immediate rehabilitation and equipping of Amanawa Hospital in Dange Shuni local government. This motion was sponsored by the member representing Dange Shuni constituency, Sirajo Mohammed Shuni, and Aminu Mustafa representing Sambon Birni North. Show Yusuf Anka reports.
As a matter of urgent public importance, the lawmaker representing Southern Benin North in the Sokoto State 10th Assembly, Aminu Mustafa, said that due to excessive rainfall, communities Kumbila, Makwana, Faru, Informa, and Magajin Dawaki, among others, are in urgent need of government intervention following flooding that destroyed their farm produce. He added that the route linking Southern Birni with Zamfara State and Niger Republic has been cut off, making transportation difficult, especially for conveying farm produce to nearby markets.
I'm appealing to this honorable House to, as a matter of urgency, call on the state government and the relevant agencies to intervene.
At the plenary, the lawmaker representing Dange Shuni constituency, Siraj Muhammad Shuni, moved a motion on the need for government to construct additional blocks, provide an access route, and supply more medical equipment to the Amana Infectious Disease Hospital in Dange Shuni. The legislature identified the facility as historic and noted that it serves several nearby communities, including those in other states, stressing the need for government renovation.
The hospital is in dire need for the appropriate furniture and fitting supporting in operations. This will go a long way in enhancing the effectiveness of the healthcare service delivery in the state.
In their contributions, members described the hospital as a critical institution that eases access to healthcare for the electorates. The Deputy Speaker, Kabir Ibrahim Kwari, who presided over the plenary, after careful consideration of the motions, announced the House approval, calling on government to act promptly.
After the resumption of the legislatures from their retreat in Abuja, the House has deliberated on two motions that aim at improving the living standards of the electorates in the state. From Sokoto State House of Assembly, Shehu Yusuf Anka, NTA News.
In Abeokuta, the Ogun State House of Assembly Committee on Public Accounting and Anti-Corruption has concluded consideration of the Auditor General's report on local government councils, urging them to be committed to transparency and accountability in project execution and delivering of dividends of democracy to the people at the grassroots. State Assembly correspondent Yemi Dalema reports that the Speaker of the House, Oludaise Lemide, also engaged leadership of Nigerian Immigration Service on allegations of maltreatment of some members of the tribe residing in border communities.
The Public Accounts and Anti-Corruption Committee rounded off the consideration of the Auditor General's report on local government councils, describing the exercise as thorough and transparent process with a promise that its findings and recommendations will be implemented to improve public financial management. Chairman of the committee, Damilare Bello, gave the assurance after taking on Imekwafon, Yewa North and Shagamu local government councils, and noted that the exercise had afforded the legislative arm the opportunity to scrutinize public accounts and ensure accountability in governance.
Generally, we have noticed that local government activities have been so idle, and we've seen some lazy activities going on in our local government, but recently we have seen a bit of improvement, and we have to acknowledge that there is a lot to be done to ensure public money is well secured, and block of leakages are one of our targets in our next session.
The Speaker of the House, Oludaise Lemide, has challenged the management of the Nigerian Immigration Service in the state to discharge their responsibilities with a high level of professionalism through promotion of due diligence and integrity to achieve a prosperous nation.
Until Nigeria gets to the right path and we move on the right path, let us continue to contribute our own quota, play our role, discharge our duties with utmost integrity, with utmost honesty and faithfulness. Most of us are you.
Numerous unofficial crossing points scattered across the state, particularly in border communities such as Jiroko, Ilara, Mekwafo, and others, which have become active routes for undocumented migration and unchecked movement of persons and goods. Patrol vehicle, photo bags for off-road surveillance, communication gadgets, and manpower are critically needed to effectively secure these borders. In recent months, we have recorded a disturbing increase in illegal migration into Ogun State.
The Ogun State Controller of Immigration, Olufunke Odushote, solicits legislative collaboration and public sensitization to address illegal immigration and child trafficking, promising interagency collaboration to prevent the crime in high-prone local government areas across Ogun State. In Abuja, Yemi Dalemo, NTA News.
In a bid to enhance inter-community connectivity, facilitate economic activities, promote rural development, and contribute to the overall well-being of residents of Etung local government area, the Cross River State House of Assembly is calling for the construction of Efraya, Etomi, Abia, Bendege access road. This is sequel to a motion from member representing Etung State Constituency, Kingsley Untwi. Udak Etemeg reports.
Poor road network usually affects movement of people and goods, while limiting access to essential services, including healthcare, education, local markets, private investment, and development initiative. Absence of good internal access route in a Etung local government area prompted a motion sponsored by member representing Etung constituency in the Cross River State House of Assembly, Kingsley Untwi, calling on the executive arm of government through the Ministry of Works and Infrastructure to commence construction of a link road from Efraya through Etomi to Abia and Bendege Ekim communities to enable access into the local government headquarters and also connect major communities within the area.
The construction of the Efraya Etomi Abia Bendege access road will enhance inter-community activities, facilitate economic activities, promote rural development, and contribute to the overall well-being of residents of the Etung local government area, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, my dear colleagues,
let me at this point call on you to look at this aspect as an extreme emergency for the two.
Co-sponsors of the motion made their contributions.
We are talking of cocoa production in Cross River State. Today, Cross River State is the watermark because of the two local government investment of cocoa production. Mr. Speaker, what can you give back to them? Where what is expected, what should we give back to them? And I think Ethiopia is not asking for so much. They deserve good road network for us to encourage the cocoa production to make sure Cross River State continue to be in the limelight.
The state government will stand another chance for us to benefit from the outcome because the economy will boost the economy and will increase the capital income, will also increase the IHR of the state and it will also help the development of the local government. Mr. Speaker, the base of this motion rise to support and to call on other colleagues to operate on this motion to please give this motion a speedy passage.
Speaker, Cross River State House of Assembly, Elvet Ayambem, expressed confidence that the state government will implement the resolution of the House to ameliorate the sufferings of the people.
Local road construction is a major part of this economic growth. Let me thank this next assembly for the speed it gave in the passing of the rural roads law, the Bill law. That was that gives strength to the establishment of grants, goes through a government, appear and implemented to help the people a lot, even to the high cost of transportation right now and the economy we are facing. It's a motion that every member should support.
In Calabar, Uduak Etum, NTA News.
That's a package this evening. You can follow us for more news updates on our social media handles showing on your screen. Thanks for watching and do have a great evening. Once again, I'm Joshua Oguchiri.